I am back with an exciting session that helps you update customer or vendor addresses from Dynamics 365 F&O. In fact, it can help you update any sort of address in Dynamics 365 F&O just by using ChatGPT, custom AI prompts, and nothing else. So, how is this possible? Let me tell you how in my following slides. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and like to my channel. I will just tell you a hypothetical situation where you are creating an application for your end users whereby your users are supposed to fill in the customer address, country, county, customer PIN, city, all these details. And seriously, do you still need all these things? Do you still need the user to fill up all these things and then press submit? Then what are the AI prompts then? So that's exactly I'm going to tell you in my next slide, and let me tell you how. So in my next slide, I'm telling you the process for doing so, and all you need to do is to start by creating a prompt, a custom prompt from your Azure or from your Power Apps. From Power Apps, you need to create a prompt, and yes, be specific as possible. Be as specific as possible. You need to be very precisely telling the prompt that, hey, this is what I need, this is what I don't need, this is what you bring back to me. Once you are done, once you have published your prompt, you come back to a flow. You come back to your flows, Microsoft Power Automate, and create a flow by accepting the address which you want to update. You accept that address and pass on that address to the above created prompt. Once that is done, then you call the prompt from any source. Say, for example, I want to update the address from a Power Apps application, Canvas application, or I want to update it through a Copilot topic. You can call it from anywhere. And then finally, in your flow, you call to Dynamics 365 F&O OData entities to update the addresses. That's it. And you need to, as a last step, you need to pass on the message back to the user with the status. Either it is a success or it has errored out. That's it. And let me demo it to you right away, how you can do it step by step. And yes, to do this, I need to come to my make.powerapps.com. I need to select the correct environment where I want to do that. Once that is done, I should be coming on my left hand side panel, which contains something known as the AI prompts. So if I click on this, I'll be able to see what are all the prompts that are available. So I have created this many prompts, and there are certain prompts that are shared with me, which are basically, mostly from the administrators. And so I have created a prompt already here called the get address details. So if I click on this, what is it saying is, extract the value of street, postal code, city, and country from this variable called customer address as a JSON response. I'm also saying remove all the single quotes and any JSON keywords that are present in the response, and also remove any other part of the response other than the JSON response. Okay, so what does this mean? Let me tell you. If I go and click on this icon, which gives me the input value, so I've created a variable called customer address, and inside that I have given a sample data like this, which is a street name, and it's a city name, the pin code, and the country name. So if I have given a value, a sample data like this, I am expecting my custom prompt to extract the value of this details from that variable and come to me as a JSON. And what if I remove this? Why I have kept this purposely is that what if I remove this, and if I test the prompt, it will come back to me with a number of unnecessary keywords. You see, here is an extracted information from the provided customer address in JSON format. So with a number of single quotes have come, and JSON, this keyword has come, which I don't need basically. And also there are so many things that have come in. AI generated content may be correct. So all these things are coming, which I don't need. So it's exactly that's why I have kept this, this instruction I've appended along with my original instruction. So I'm removing all what is not needed, and I am saving it. if I press the prompt once again, so click on this, and it will give me exactly the JSON response that I am looking for. So I am copying this JSON response somewhere, and I'm just as I've already saved it, it's coming as disabled. If it is not disabled, if I've made some changes, I will save this and I will come out of it. This is done. I am going to take you to a flow which I have created. It's called customer address updates. It's a very simple flow which, if I click on this edit, I can show you what exactly it's doing. It's accepting the details of the customer and the address. So if this flow is called from our Power Apps, it is going to accept a customer account and an address. So which is basically both of these are string type inputs. And then I'm calling my ChatGPT prompt from here. So here I have created the ChatGPT prompt which I showed you previously. I am calling it from this flow in this step, and I'm passing on the address value that I'm getting from the previous step out here. So this address is basically passed on to my ChatGPT custom prompt, and I am going to get an answer which is nothing but that JSON response which I showed you. So I am doing what? I am basically calling a parse JSON step out here. So parse JSON I am basically setting the JSON schema, the JSON response schema out here. I already have copied the JSON response schema from my PowerApps prompt. And here in my content, I am passing on the value which I have received from the previous step of creating text with GPT using a prompt. This outcome I am passing it on as an input to my parse JSON. So if I see what is it doing is, you would see like it is basically getting the body slash response v2, which is basically the version of the prompt connector which I'm calling. And finally, the prediction output slash text. Text is what I did. Text is basically the JSON response which comes as an outcome from this previous step. So I am basically parsing the entire JSON response in this step. And then the rest part is, as I think you can quite easily guess, I am calling an Azure Active Directory token. So this Azure Active Directory token is nothing but passing on by all the details of the client ID, client secret, and all these things. And I am basically in the next step, I am calling again, I am parsing this to get the value of the access token out here and assigning it in an AAD token variable. And then finally, I'm calling my post to customer v3. So my post to customer v3 is nothing but it's an OData entity endpoint where I am posting it, and I am passing the BRN token out here, which I have received from the above step. Here I'm doing a post, and I'm assigning the content tab as an application slash JSON. Once this is done, then I'm assigning the party number as the customer account which I have got from the above step. The location ID is nothing but I have given it some kind of an arbitrary value like text slash business. It's a business. I have basically for now I'm hard coding it, but obviously you can assign it. You can pass it on through the from the PowerApps input as well. Rules, as I was saying, rules you can also, I have hard coded this as a business, but yes, you can make it flexible enough to pass it on from the first step. And its primary is yes, description is also once again a kind of output, which is basically the original value hyphen the business. Then the street is basically I am getting by parsing the JSON. City is what it is also I have got from the parsing the JSON. State I have kept it blank, but obviously you can also include that in your custom prompt, and you can get the value of this from your JSON response. Zip code, this is the most important part of the address. So zip code I also have assigned it like this. County I have keeping it blank just for simplicity, but yes, you can include this in your custom prompt. And finally, I am passing on the country region ISO code, which is basically this is what actually is required to complete the the endpoint OData endpoint call. So the country is also basically I have received from the ports JSON step, and I am assigning it to this country region ISO code this field. So once this is done, the risk part is I'm initializing a variable just to understand the response that I'm receiving from the execution of this step, and it's called the status code, which is basically the execution status code of this post to customer V3, the outcome of this execution. I'm assigning it into this value called the response. Then I am, I'm just keeping a response as either if the response is of type 200 or 201, which means if it is a success, if it is a success, then only it will give 200, which is accepted, and 201 is also okay. If any one of those response comes, then I am saying to give a value. If I expand this, it will show me a true as like this. So in the response, I'm saying that updated successfully. And if the response is not like this, if it is 500, that is an internal server error, or 400, or anything that server not found, any kind of error comes, I am returning a false value, which is basically saying that update failed. So it's a very simple flow, as you can see, and this I am going to call from a Canvas app. I created a very simple Canvas app, which is having a drop down called customer. Customer is nothing but I have used a data source from Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. It's called Customer V3. I'm using that, and I am basically using a multi-line text input called street address print. So, and here I am calling this Power Apps, which I've created from the previous step, which I just showed you. This Power Automate, I am basically customer address updates. I have referenced this in my Canvas app. In my submit button, I am calling to my customer address updates this flow, this Power Automate I'm calling, and I'm calling the run event of that Power Automate, whereby I'm selecting the party account, which is this, which is nothing but this drop down. I'm selecting the party ID. So if you see, I have purposely kept like this. I'm selecting the party ID because while calling the Power Automate, you have to call. If you could see, like here in my sorry, I went to the wrong step. So if you see here, I have to call the party number, because if I see the customer account, it might not help like this, because address book is related to dir party tables party ID. That is why exactly I am passing on this in this selection. I am passing on the party number. So and in my party account, I'm selecting the party ID. I'm selecting and also I'm selecting the address text that I'm going to give in. And finally, I am basically receiving the response from the execution and setting this in a variable called response. It's a variable, and I'm keeping the outcome of my response in this variable. So that's it. If you see, like if I call this right away, I can show you how this exactly works. So here I am selecting any customer basically. If I select, say for example, this guy, and I am saying my address is here, test address 123, like that, and test address I'm selecting as test address and comma Delhi, and I'm saying that pin code is basically anything like 89944899011 like that, and its ID. If I select submit, it will take a couple of moments time, and it will come as a result of the execution, which is, you can see, like basically the execution is currently happening and it is saying as updated successfully. So if I see this customer is basically 0866. So if I see the customer address, you'd see like it's an awesome feature. It belongs to this customer US010. So if I come back to this customer, and if you see, this is the customer which I have updated by using the Canvas app. And if I come back to this customer and if I refresh the screen, Let me try to open this customer record, and you see, like here in the address, this has created this address as, the test address. Like this, it has been able to assign this inside this address field. That's not this. If I click on this edit button, I would see, like, it's been able to strip out the postal code value from my address. It has been able to strip out the country region value from my address. It has been able to strip out the Delhi, that is the city value from the address, and obviously the street also. It has been able to take out the value from that input. So this exactly, it's so amazing. Like, you don't need to create separate fields for inputting streets, postal codes, country, region, city. These things are no more needed. You can create one single prompt to make the users put in the value and assess them and understand and take out, scoop out whatever is stated and assign it to the respective fields to take it forth. So you have to create the flow which I showed you. From that flow, I am calling the prompt which I have created previously, and from that flow I am in fact passing on this value to my Dynamics 365 O data entities, and that's it. That is going to do the trick. So just not this, you can also extend this feature to co-pilots, to from co-pilot topics. You can also do the same activity. You can also call this feature from any source, any place you want to harness this feature to do the same kind of a strategy. So with that, let me conclude the session for today, and I would once again like to thank you for watching this, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Much love and namaste. Subhash.